Guys, I've got good news and bad news for you. The good news is that after this issue, I'm pretty sure we have now completely finished the right side. With the finishing up of the foot, everything is done. The bad news is we've got to do it all over again, but on the left side. Let's see how I got on. So this is issue 71, assembling the foot parts and attaching them to the right leg. So let's begin with a parts check. It's been a month since I've built anything on the Terminator, because that's how long it takes my deliveries to come, and I really got into the swing of this. So let's see if I can get the momentum going again. So we have 71-1 foot part marked 4. So let me find the correct piece. There we go. So each of these pieces have a little notch in them and they have a number. This is all metal construction, so that's piece number 1. Piece number 2 is marked 5. It's like playing a memory game. You have to remember if you've seen the number before. So this is a little bit different. Piece number 3 is also marked 4, so that must be this one then. So this one's marked 4 as well. So can we assume that these are identical? Because they're not identical. That's interesting. So they're both marked with a 4. Right. So piece number 1 is smooth. You see that it's smooth there, whereas this piece number 3, which is marked with a 4, has got this ridge in it, which means that this piece that we thought was number 2 is actually piece number 4, because that's got a ridge in it, which makes this piece marked with a 5. This is actually piece number 2. So piece 1 and piece 2 are smooth. Piece 3 and piece 4 have got this little detail in the middle, so be careful there. So we've got piece number 5, or pieces number 5, are the toe joints, and there's 2 of these. And then we have piece 6 is the toes. So these are these little dumbbelly type things. So far everything here is metal. Piece number 7 is 3 4 by 8mm grub screws. So that's these screws. They're basically screws without heads, and they actually have where is it? There we are. It actually has the Allen key fixing in the middle. Now I'm going to put these back in the plastic, because as you can imagine these can roll around. Then piece number 9, piece number 8, sorry, we have 2 4 by 35mm grub screws. So they're exactly the same as the previous piece, except they're longer. There'll be an Allen key in the end, Allen key fitting, sorry, and these will go in there, and that will leave us with piece number 9, plastic sleeves times 5, of which 1 is spare. So let me tip these out and show you one. So they're just basically, it's a plastic sleeve, and this is obviously for spacing out. So let's begin with the assembly. Now we have been doing 1 toe per issue, and now all of a sudden we're doing 2, which is fab. And I'm trying to get you talking, or keep talking, while I try to find the correct screwdriver bit. That's too small, and because you know me, I do like to try and get my bits ready. There we are, perfect. So take this out, pop this in. This is looks like the only screwdriver bit we're going to need this issue. As you see, there are no, these are effectively the screws, they're grub screws. So we need to take the lower foot parts 1, which is this smooth piece marked with a 4, and one of the joints number 5, which is one of these, and we need to position this. You see how we've got this raised bit here, and then we've got 2 middle pieces. So with our shorter end, with the number 4 pointing away, that's going to go into there like so, and that will be attached with 1 single grub screw, and I've just thrown it across the table, and that's going, that doesn't want to go in. Right, so the first 2 holes, which is the hole attached to the 4 and the middle piece, it's actually smaller than the hole, but what it's going to do is, I don't know if you can see that, it's actually going to screw into the 3rd end, and what we're going to do is we're going to just attach that so that it's flush. So you see that from there the grub screw isn't actually poking out either side, but this connection is still there. So next we want to take the piece number 3, which again is marked number 4, and with the number 4 away from us and the smaller, see how that one's a little bit smaller than that, that's going into, and I've just done this wrong, my apologies guys, I've actually I've actually screwed this into the wrong bit. So I've just gone through all of the stages with you, the instructions. This one actually goes into the smaller hole, the lower hole there. I thought I put it in the lower hole, but obviously I was wrong, unless maybe I turned it over or something, I don't know. So thankfully I noticed that before it was too late, but in any case that's going into there. So once again we insert that grub screw so that it's not showing through. Then this piece is coming into there, and step 3, instead of using a grub screw, we're actually going to be using one of these sleeves, and the easiest way I found to do it is to get the back of something. I quite like my knife, and we'll just push that through, and as long as it's lined up it should go through fine. And there we go. And then we'll finish that off with one of the pins. I don't know if you remember the pins. Sorry, bear with me a sec guys. So we had some pins in previous issues, and we had the sprue of them, and we actually need one of these. So what I'm going to do is just cut a single one off. I think we're going to need 2 for this issue, possibly more, and this is actually going to go through like so. And what's going to happen, that sleeve is just big enough. This is going to work in exactly the same way as a wall plug. As you push this pin in, it's actually going to push that out a little bit, and then we just get something hard and solid, such as the back of a screwdriver, and we can just push that the remaining way home. Right. And there we go, and that's in perfectly. So there you go. So we have 2 moving parts there. So the next stage, we want one of the toes, which is piece number 6, and that's going to go in like so into that hole there, and that again will be attached with I say again, so we need to pop a plastic sleeve into there, which we'll push down. Make sure you apply even pressure, and if it looks like it's not going to go in, you may have the parts misaligned. So there we go. And I don't worry about pushing that all the way through. because you'll find that when you pop the next pin in, it will push it the rest of the way. That's what I've been finding. So that goes into there like so, and again with a harder object than your hand, we can finish engaging that. Just using something flat, and there we go. That's not fully engaged. Right. There we go. That's kind of worked. A little bit of a push with a hard object and a little bit of a wiggle with the toe, and that's soon gone home. I'm happy with that. It's not fully engaged, but I'm happy enough with it. So what we need to do now then is we need to assemble the fifth part exactly the same way. So what we'll do is we'll move that there as a reference, and then we know we're going to use 2 of these. So let's cut these 2 off. Like so. And then these are spare, but I'm going to pop them back in the box anyway. And then what we'll do is we will arrange our parts this time. We know what we're doing this time. So, and this one's actually slightly bent. So question I have is, I think it actually bends this way. We have a reference shot and it looks like this one's coming up this way. So, and again we've got the screw there. Yes, so yes. So if you remember, when I put the grub screw in, the first 2 holes, it just goes all the way through. So to continue that theme, it would go this way. Why is my screw now not screwing? That's interesting. My screwdriver. It's because I've got it set the wrong way for some reason. I do like these ratchet screwdrivers, but you just touch the end and suddenly you're going the wrong way. Right, so that's the first one in. So this is the, and I've done, yes, so that makes sense. So whereas we've been doing it so the number's been away from us, obviously that means that if we look at it from this side, we won't see the number, but if we look from this side, we will. So to cover that up, we're actually having this last one is going to have the number on the inside. So by that standard, this one is going to go in like so. Yeah, and that makes perfect sense to me. Except that this piece isn't going to go in. There we go. It's just a little bit off. So let's pop the sleeve in. There we go. And then pop the pin in like so. These aren't easy to put in, but they will go in. There we go. And then lastly, we have the toe, which is attached with another sleeve, like so. Perfect. And then we finish that off with another pin, and that one's gone straight in. So we have toes number 5, I call it a toe but it's actually the foot, number 4, and then if we look back in our box, I say it's been a long time since I've done these, it feels like forever. We have number 3, we have number 2, and this looks like it says number 7, but I think it's actually number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yes, so it makes total sense now. You have the ridged bit on top, so that's obviously some kind of piston. You have no numbers visible, but obviously if you didn't have that one, you would see the numbers from this side and it would look a little bit ugly. So these are on the wrong side, so to speak, so that you can't see them. I would have suggested maybe that these go round the opposite way, number one, and I don't know. Anyway, so for the next stage, we do actually need the model, so I just need to take a little break just so that I can bring the model onto the table. I'll see you shortly. Okay, so I have my whole Terminator sitting on the table, ready to receive foot surgery, so to speak. And what we need to be doing is we start off with the assembly from 69, which I believe will be this one with number 1 on it. And what we're going to be doing, we need these 2 grub screws, or at least one. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be popping the foot on like this, and we need to insert this grub screw all the way through. Now it's telling us to do one at a time, and I think that's probably a good idea. So I'm going to screw this through. Now let's just have a little check. Now these, just like when we did the grub screws here, these first 4 notches, they've got no thread on them. It's actually the end that has the thread on it. And likewise, these are going to go through all of these. So what we need to do, I think the easiest way to do this is to actually pull the toe all the way back. So we're dealing with just one bit. Make sure the toe is pointing downwards, and then we can make sure that the just do a double check. Make sure you got the screwy end this end, and we will just pop that one in just enough to hold it. Simple as that. Then we'll do the same with the second one, and then we can pop the grub screw through just a little bit more, and then the third one, the fourth one, and that doesn't want to go. You said that's right. So then when we get to the 5th one, that's going in, but this time we're not going to be able to push the grub screw in, so we will have to tighten this with a screwdriver. You could probably start it off with your fingers, but that's absolutely fine. So what we need to do now is repeat the process for the top of the feet, and obviously what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up. It's going to be slightly fiddly, it's going to be very fiddly actually. So we then just push that into there like so. We might need to jiggle it a bit. And then the second one, make sure that all, what I'm actually doing, first of all by accident and then on purpose, is I'm actually pushing it through all the way to the next hole, then I'm just bringing it back. That makes sure that the whole piece of the foot is engaged. So you may need to just manipulate these toes a little bit. So look, I'm going to push this through. I'm now at the point where I'm doing it on purpose, because then I know it's engaged. You might need to twist it a little bit. It's not going easily. There we go. So I've pushed it all the way through, then I've pulled it back a bit. The next one, there we go, that went in nice and easy. And then the last one, and just like before, this isn't going to go through on its own because it's a screw thread, so we'll just finish this off by screwing. And what I'm doing is I've got my finger over the hole, and I can feel the grub screw when it starts to come through. Now this, I'm going to have to use this screw because where I'm going backwards and forwards, I don't need to change it. Now the grub screw won't go flush, So what I'm doing is I'm just having it poking out just an equidistant on both sides, like that. So, and there we go. That is the foot complete. That I am rather happy with. So let me bend his knee. This is getting rather large now, so it's quite awkward to play with. But that is the foot complete. How fantastic is that? There's his heel, there's his toes, and there's the rest of his foot. Absolutely fantastic. So that is actually, I can't get the whole view on. And also what didn't help is I caught his head, and the eye sockets that I didn't glue in, I don't think I glued them in, have actually come off. I think the faceplate is meant to come off, so bear with me. I'm doing some quick field repair work, so to speak. So right, so the progress on the whole model is that I'm going to have to bring this camera up, which means you're going to have to see my messy desk, so I do apologize. So we have the head, of which the back is incomplete. We have an entire right arm. We have the middle section. Now these pieces here keep popping out. It's not a problem to put back in, and obviously they tend to pop out when I move his legs. So I guess we've got more work to do on the show. We've obviously got some more work to do on the chest, and we've got some work to do on the back, but we now have a complete leg. And I have not looked at the next week yet, but I suspect that this is the end of the right side. Let me have a quick look now. So yes, next week we begin all over again, except we're going to start from there. So how exciting. So yeah, absolutely chuffed with this so far, absolutely loving it, and I'm so glad I recontinued this. So that's it for issue 71, and I hope to catch you in 72. Take care guys, bye bye.